There are some Dungeons and Dragons games that you remember that way beyond any other. You might have killed a great monster. You might have found a tremendous sword. Or you might have done something so monumentally stupid that over 45 years later, people in your Dungeons and Dragons group are still talking about it. That's me. And you know, actually, at the time, I was terrified. For a bit of information, this was way back at the beginning. Our rule was, if you died, you died. There was no have a sleep for 8 hours or don't worry, generate another character and we will slip you into the dungeon. When you were dead, you were out of the game and you left the table. Now, normally we had other games set up. Might be Kingmaker, might be Risk, Diplomacy, Sorcerer's Cave. But you were out of the game. There was only one way back into the game. That was for at least some of the party to survive, escape the dungeon, and get to a place, town or city or a castle, where they could recruit new people who would then be the players that had been killed. And they could come back into the dungeon. You could go back in, and the players that survived had the previous knowledge to help you get a little bit further. In this particular case, I was the sole survivor of a party of 6. The others were all dead. They were all playing other games in other parts of the room. There was me, there was the Dungeon Master. To continue with the game, otherwise the Dungeon Master would close the book he'd written, the module, because they were all our own by this time, and we would never play again. He would shelve it. He might play it with another group, but he wouldn't play it with us, and he wouldn't tell us what we'd missed. It was vital that I got out. The flavour of the dungeon, without any obvious evidence, was ancient Greece. We'd met a Minotaur. It had a feeling a bit like the Athenaeum underground. The letters and the codes were very similar to ancient Greek. Not that any of us knew ancient Greek, but that was the vibe I was getting. Nobody had told me that. The Dungeon Master didn't say, this is set in ancient Greece. It wasn't. It was set in Joral, which doesn't have a Greek element at all. So, but it's a vibe I'd got. I'm on my own. I'm in the dark. I've only got 3 torches left, which basically is 3 candles. So I've got my candle lit. I come to a wooden door. I examine the wooden door without touching anything. I remember the lights are turned off at this point. It's me and a candle and a Dungeon Master and a black and white drawing that he's done. So examining the door, I see what I see. I'll let you see. I spot the Greek symbol, spot the big iron turner. I check that for traps. Don't want poison needles and things. Is it screwed tightly? Is it a real door even? I've no magic, I'm a fighter. So I open the door just a sliver, just enough to see in. And I spot something move inside, so I shut the door quickly. So I know there's something in the room. I can't hear anything at the door, and it didn't move, and it's not coming towards me. I wait 5 minutes. I open the door again. There's something in the room. I can see something in the room. It's like a glittering light. And a creature. And the creature is sort of crouching. And as I stand up to get a better view, the creature begins to stand up. So I drop back behind the door. I've got it in my head now that this is a Gorgon, Medusa. This is snaky-haired lady going to turn me to stone. I've no evidence for that. It's just what I think's going to happen. And it's not something we've ever seen as our party in a dungeon before. So that wouldn't surprise me. I don't have a shield. Look around, there's nothing mirrored. So I go back through the dungeon and I search some of the rooms we've not been in, and eventually I find a silvered shield. I was hoping for a mirror, but I don't find one. Find a little silvered shield, like a buckler. So take it off the wall, bring it back, sit down by the door, polish it up, get it really shiny. So I'm holding it up in front of my face like that. Push the door open. The thing inside doesn't respond. I daren't look at it. I know it's there. I daren't look at it. I'm going to test. I've got high dexterity, which for us was all you needed to know for acrobatic skills. So I'm going to throw 3 dice. I'm going to add them together. My dexterity score needs to be higher than whatever I throw. So it's close. In those days, I was just a human. I had 3. It was throwing 3. So it was easy to fail. But I'm running out of options. So I thought, right, what I'm going to do, my plan is I'm going to forward roll. I'm going to come up behind the shield and hope I get a glimpse from something, somewhere. And then I'm going to do the same again. So I did it. So here we go. I'm going to throw. My dexterity is 16. I've got to get 15 or less, otherwise I've failed. Passed it. I'm okay. Not turned to stone, I daren't look. I'm going to go again. I'm going to go again. I need to see what I'm fighting. Done it again. I've succeeded again. Dare I go again? I don't know what to do. I'm not getting any angle on this thing. If I try and glimpse around, there's definitely something there. I've decided what I'm going to do. I take out my sword. I put the buckle in front of my eyes. I shut my eyes and I charge headlong into whatever's in front of me. My plan is I'm going to bowl it over. You can't look in my eyes. My eyes are shut. But it's not that far away from me. I can sense it. I'm going to crash into it and then I'm going to lash around with it trapped under me. That's the plan. So I run like bonkers, full tilt, charge, bang, straight into something hard, smashing noise of glass everywhere. And when I dare to look, I'm in an empty room with what remains of a mirror that was on the far wall that I've just broken all over the wall. So for about an hour, I have been holding up a little shield and doing forward rolls around an empty room because what I saw through the door was me in the reflection in the mirror. There was no creature in that room. There was actually no threat. The threat came from my imagination. I built that up myself. The Dungeon Master didn't do it, except by giving me the space to allow that imagination to play tricks on itself, to develop a story that didn't really exist. The Dungeon Master left a darkness for us to illuminate ourselves. What do you think? Is there something that decades later you found or did, or a friend did, that is still with you now, that when you meet, if you're lucky enough to be able to meet it, you still go, do you remember that? Because that's when Dungeons and Dragons lives in us. When we get those deep, deep memories that are so personal and pertinent to us, so pertinent to and special to us, that I now want you to share them to everybody in our community. So, on that thought, be assured of my discretion. Ta-ra, Chuck!